Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today, I'm going to show you how to set up your own AI agent that will be able to call all your appointments of the day to confirm if people will show up. If not, it will be able to reschedule an event in your calendar and cancel the last one. So, without further ado, let's jump in today's demo right now. So, I'm just going to show you what my calendar looks like on Monday. So I have two demos, and basically I'm just going to run this trigger. So this is a function that can run at the frequency that you want in order to check what are the appointment of the day, for example, or a particular day. In my case, I'm checking like for 2 days ahead. And now if I run this, so here I'm going to have a 400, an error because I just get rid of like an important element. However, what I wanted to show you is I have the number 2 here because I have two API calls that have been made because I have two events, which means that if you have a lot of appointments during the day, they will all be called at the same time because we are going to use Relevance AI, and that will generate different conversations happening simultaneously. So this is great to call your entire, all the people that have booked a demo with you for a specific day, they will all be called at the same, more or less at the same time. So which is great. So now let's just go back to here, and I'm going to put back the agent ID key. I'm going to remove this demo because here I put my contact, but I don't want to be called twice. And so right now, let me run it again. And now that I've run it again, we have a new conversation starting here. So if I had like 2 or 3 appointments, I would have 2 or 3 conversations happening in the same time, and I will receive different calls because I put my phone number. So the first thing that we can see, data have been shared with the AI agent. So now it's checking the current time zone. It's checking the availabilities that I have. And now the next step for him will be to call me in order to ask me if I'm still going to come at this appointment that we have set up on Monday at 12:30. So as you can see, this step can be faster or not. It depends how many available slots you have in your calendar. Because mine is pretty empty, basically it takes a bit longer for him because there's a lot slot to retrieve. So now I can see that it's calling me. So I'm just going to answer the phone. Hello?
Hi there, Julian. I hope you're doing well, and I'm calling from renautopilot.co to check if you can still make the demo of our WhatsApp automation we have scheduled. I have you booked for a demo on February 17th at 1:30 p.m. Does that still work for you?
Unfortunately, I won't be available. Do you have another slot, maybe the same time the next day?
Let me check for you. Unfortunately, the next day is a Saturday, and we can only book demos on weekdays. Would February 19th at 1:30 p.m. work for you instead?
No, February 18th, please.
Certainly. Julian, on February 18th, we have availability at 1:30 p.m. Would that work for you?
Yeah, that will work for me. Thanks.
Great. We're now set for February 18th at 1:30 p.m. We're looking forward to exploring how our WhatsApp automation can benefit you. Have a great day, Julian.
Thank you. Have a great day too. Bye.
Thank you, Julian. Goodbye.
So now I'm going to hang up the phone. And as we can see, so we have this little more confusion with days because it's like, as soon as I mention a day, it doesn't often have like clarity about what day it is. So you know the dates, but the day is still confusing. So I guess I need to readjust this little part. But for everything else, then he has been able to schedule another appointment. So we're just waiting here to see that this has been finished. And now we can see that it's working in order to set up the new appointment. So now we can see that the appointment has been scheduled. So we have in the calendar the new appointment for Tuesday, so the 18th, 12:30. And if I go back to the previous day, the previous appointment now is gone because he has an order, which is to cancel the previous event when another one has been scheduled, which is going to free a slot in case someone need that slot to book another demo, right? So now let's have a look about the tech stack that we are going to use, and I will break down everything about this implementation so you as well can create your own AI agent. So first thing, let's go through the tech stack. So as you saw in this demo, we will need make.com, we will need Relevance AI, and we will need Google Calendar. You can use a different calendar, for example, Outlook, that works as well. For Relevance AI, so that's the platform that we're using with AI agents. And basically, the function to call is already built in, so you do not need to add anything else. You can literally use already the module that's been created for. And so that's all we need for today. And then we are going to have the overview. So what's the flow exactly? So I show you the trigger in make.com. So this trigger will help us to retrieve the events that we want to call people for in order to make sure that they're going to show up. And once we have retrieved those events, we will directly send them to the AI agent. And this agent will then check the current time zone if it feels that it needs to, then retrieve all the availabilities that we have, then make the phone call, and then schedule another event in case I said that I would not be available for the slot that was initially set up. If I'm available, then nothing's going to change. It's going to stay the way it was. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. So now let's jump into the implementation part. So let me go back to make.com and let's start with the trigger. So the first thing is, this trigger basically is to retrieve the different events that we have on a specific period of time. So in my case, I decided to set it up for a specific day. So everything is kind of hard coded. So I just put the date and put a limit. But obviously, you can use the function now in order to calculate based on the current time. And then you're free to do it the way you want. I just wanted to make it simple for this demo. Then we have the calendar module. So I connected my Google Calendar here with a starting date from this variable before and the finishing date. Then I have an aggregator. Why? Because here, this is the result that I get from the event that I retrieved. It's not super sexy. It's not really happening when you have to read or to try to find the data that you need. So with the aggregator, basically what we say is, okay, look, I'm interested in this data, this data, this data, this data. And so the result now is much more appealing to me because I have everything that I need. I have all my attendees as well. I have the description here, which the agent will be able to retrieve the phone number and the name. Then I have an iterator. So the iterator will allow me to turn this array that we had. So right now there's just one event, but when I had two events, so we had like different collections. And now I'm turning this into a bundle here that will make it much easier for me to access because it won't be in an array. It will just be bundles like this. And when I have the bundles, then I'm making an API call towards Relevance AI, and I'm going to trigger the agents. So this flow is triggered by time. It can be triggered by something else. For example, if you have a different like condition, and this last module will trigger my AI agent that will then take the lead. So here, as we can see in the body, I have the role, I have the content, and the content, I'm just passing the email, and the email that is contained in the event as the attendee. Then I'm passing the name and phone number who are in the description. So I didn't have to break it down or anything like that. I'm just passing the entire variable is now deal with it. He has been able to deal with it. And the starting date and hour. So I just formatting the date in order to have it this way. And then the agent ID that will allow me to trigger this particular agent. So now what happened here is the flow that we saw. So the first thing, he checked the time zone. So he retrieved the current time zone with the current date and hour, then checked the availabilities. And so it took a little while here because as you can see, because all the demo were half an hour. So now he's retrieved all the available slots that I have for the next 3 days, every half an hour. So that's what happened. Then we add the call. So he passed all these variables, so which means like all the available slots, the demo starting time. So this was coming from the make scenario. Remember when we passed the variable? The email was as well in part of the description. Recipient name as well. The phone number was part of the description as well. And the event ID was already retrieved in make.com. And so that allowed the agent to have all the data they needed in order to make the call and then schedule an event. And those data, they were based on the output that we had from the previous tool So right here, we can see the new date that was scheduled on the 18th. And now we can see the 18th is now the end time. So he's using this as an end time because he had half an hour, but the starting time here is the 18th, 1:30. Plus we had the email. So this is good. And the sales agent email is basically my email that I put in order for him to, when he creates an event, to always make sure that he adds me, the owner, the organizer, of this event. So with that being said, let's take a look at this guy. So his name is Demo Checker. That's how I wanted to call it. And this demo checker will call people who booked the demo to confirm that it's still a good time for them. So in core instruction, we have here the prompt. So the key elements here is you are a phone calling agent who calls people who have booked a demo to confirm that they can still make the agreed upon time and date and time, right? And we will provide him with like demo attendees, name, phone number, email, starting and ending time. And all demos are 30-minute longs, so then he knows. And the end time will be plus 30 minutes, right? Then we tell him that do not ask for the time zone in this case because we knew that all the people will be based in the same country, same area, so there was no need for the time zone. But we still put like the time zone tool just in order someone for some reason is traveling this day and they're saying like they're on different time zone, you will be able to check in this case. Then now we also tell him to suggest the 3 most appropriate slots based on the user feedback using the check Google Calendar availability, which is a tool, and another tool to confirm or reschedule the demo call. So this one will be used in order to call the prospect, right, and make sure that they can show up. And then we just mentioned as well that we have a schedule event. So that will allow him to schedule an event if he needs to. So this is the procedure, basically. This is the SOP for this one. It's not huge, but it's enough. I added also in the flow builder, so checking the current date using the time zone and then check availability for the next 3 days. So in this case, the idea was more just to limit the number of available slots. I didn't want it to be too ahead in the future because people tend to forget. So I just limited it to 3 days. And then the next things that he has to do is to make the phone call in order to confirm that the demo is still scheduled, right? And then, so we have the tools. And the tools, this is the interesting part as well. So we have different tools. So we can start. Let's start with the time zone. So the time zone is a very simple tool. The time zone is just with the function get current time here. So you put like your time zone basically, and that's why it returns, right? So if I do this, it's just going to return the current time zone. So this is very simple. Then we will have the check Google Calendar availability. So this one, I can use this one in order to perform the task. But basically here you have different input, the starting date that you want to check. Then you have the end date. Then you have the meeting duration. And then basically we have this module in Relevance AI that allow us to map out those data. So we bind them right here. And then we limit as well the working day from 9 to 5. So everything after 5 will not be scheduled. So the last appointment can be scheduled at 4:30, right? And so when we run this tab, basically we're just gonna retrieve an array of all the available slots that we have, and this is what we will pass to the agent afterwards. And once we pass this to the agent, that's because it will use the confirm or reschedule demo call. And in this case, this is what it will have in terms of available times, right? Then we will pass him the phone number. So this is coming directly from Make. The start demo time, so it's coming, all of this is coming from Make because that's the data that we have from this event, right? And the event ID. And then in the flow, so we're making the phone call here, and we have here the assistant system prompt. So you are an agent that calls people who have booked a demo to confirm if they can still attend. And then you need to wait for the response. And then we have the call script where we basically tell him to replace some of the info. So for example, demo star, you replace it by the variable that we gave you. Availability, you also use the different source that we gave you. And then you have like this intro line I there with the name of the person. I hope you're doing well. I'm calling from runautopilot.co to check if you can still make the demo of our WhatsApp automation we have scheduled. And then we just want to make sure reinforce the desire that is going to say this sentence at the very beginning. And then if you, I have you booked for a demo on, and then we confirm the date and the time. Does it still work for you? And then this is where the conversation starts. If it's a yes, that is good. The conversation is over. Basically, there's not much more that will happen. However, if the answer is no, that doesn't work for him, then this is where you need to find a time where you can only suggest a couple day max, couple slots available in the next few days max. And we often want to limit to 3 alternatives, because otherwise, if you do not limit it, it's going to give you all the availabilities for the next 2 weeks or the next 3 days. But if your calendar is pretty empty, it can last for long, right? And then we also tell him to not do any meta explanations. So just stay focused in this call and just talk about what happened now about the demo, and also tell a confirmation about the new date and time that you guys agreed on, and then just salute them and just wish them a great day, right? So this is the script for the phone call. Then the phone call happens, and when the phone call happens, here we have this module which is retrieve call details. So with this, we'll be able to get the transcribe of this call. So once I have the transcribe, I added a first LLM here step, because I just want to know exactly if the user and the agent agree to reschedule the meeting. Because if it's the case, was the appointment rescheduled, then I want you to return true. If not, return false. If the guy didn't pick up the phone, then return no answer. And why do I do this? I do this for several reasons. The first reason is, if I have true here, I know what happened, which means that I can add extra steps because they're based on this condition. If it returns false, then I also know that nothing changed and nothing's going to happen. So this is great, right? That helps me to add several specific steps dedicated to the fact that that the appointment has been rescheduled or not. And the no answer could also allow me, for example, to proceed with an update in the CRM, because when people do not answer, then I could reschedule the call for later on this day, for example. So instead of waiting for tomorrow morning to recall this guy, I can say, okay, all the people I didn't answer at 9 a.m., I want them to answer at 2 p.m. And so with this status, I can then perform a different action later on if I want to. In this case, in this example, what I did was then I added LLM module, and here, if the reschedule answer is true, which means that if they agree to reschedule the appointment, I have true as an answer here, and I'm using this answer as a condition for this step. So if it's not true, this step will not be performed. But here, from the following conversation, extract from, and now I'm putting the conversation, the transcript that we have, the starting date and time in ISO format, basically here. So I just say replace time by this value. The attendee's name. So here I just map out the input that we had because we already had them, and return this data. That's all I said today. This is only based on this condition. I'm adding this condition by clicking here, and I can add a condition right now because it's already visible. I can remove the condition, but otherwise you can add the condition. Select here the variable that we have, equal and true. And I know it's true because that's what I set up here in the conditions. There's 3 values that this step can return: true, false, no answer. And so once this has been done, then I have another step that is once again based on the true that I have from this step. If the answer is true, then I want you to cancel the event that we had. And here we have the event ID, and the event ID is basically the initial event that we had. So this is coming from make. And I'm using this variable at this step in order to cancel this event in the calendar. So when a new event has been booked, you cancel the previous one, so that will free a slot in case someone else is interested to have it. And then you return basically those data that we have. So if I go back to this part, I can see this is what I have as an output. So I have the new date here. I have the attendee's name, Julian. I have the phone number. I have the email. And the last part of this process is to actually schedule the event. And now I can see that he's using the correct email. The end time has been set up accordingly. So 30 minutes after the starting time. And the starting time here, as we can see, is 1:30. Sales agent email is basically my email as an organizer. So I just want to make sure that I'm always part of every meeting. Meeting descriptions. So I told him to always do this in the meeting description, which is my name and my phone number. Why? Because as you could see at the very beginning, when I run this make automation, he already had all those data inside the description. And then the event title, I want the event title to follow this format. And so all the event will follow this format basically. So when I go to this tool, this is what I have. So event title, meeting description, right? Starting time, end time, sales agent. And now I can create the Google Calendar event. So basically just mapping out all those data, right? And that's it. That's the way to do it. So as you can see, it's not that complex. It's doable. But what's very, very interesting about this flow is it's just a simple way right now to check if people are going to show up to the demo that you guys have scheduled. Obviously, you can connect your CRM, and then this is where the magic happens. Is like what you're going to do with this is like you can call to offer a different type of demo if you want. You can then trigger an agent that will add more details to their profile in the CRM. Then you can add like an agent that will update the profile in the CRM. Then based on the demo, you might want to send them. Then based on the demo, you might want to send them like a questionnaire or anything like that. And you can also do this at scale. For example, if you have a team of salespeople, then this is where it will be great. So all of your salespeople will have their appointment confirmed or not before they even show up to work, which means that also facilitates the work, and that helps you also to see the visibility of the agenda and see who's busy, who's not. So there's a lot of cool use cases that you can do with that. This is just the core and the first piece of it. And then like, I believe that your creativity will be the limit for this particular implementation, right? So with that being said, let's talk about the budget. So basically, for you can set this up with a free plan in make.com. If you do not have make.com, or you just have one automation, you can have up to 2 automations. So this one can be one of them that you can run on a daily, weekly basis, whatever you want to feel like will be adapted in your case. For Relevance AI, I think the free plan will most likely not be enough for you to run this. So you will have to go on the first plan that is at this time around $19 a month. And Google Calendar is for free, so you can use this. So for $19 a month, literally you can have a team of AI agents that will call all your appointments to make sure that they show up during this demo that they have booked with you. So that's almost it for today's demo. I'm just going to share some takeaways. So as I explained, this is just the core piece of an entire automation that you can set up related with CRM that will be super interesting, related with like your sales team. That could be great. Even if you're a solo founder, you don't really have time. Your time is precious, and you just want to make sure that you maximize everything, your productivity, and all your appointments are actually secure, and people will show up. That's a great way for you to run this on the daily basis, and just making sure people will actually attend. So we have the version right now that making phone call. You obviously can have the version that just send emails. It's up to you. You can have both with different days. So it's really up to you, but I just think this one is really a great piece in order to implement a much bigger system. So if you haven't signed up to this channel yet, I think that's the right time to do it. We try to publish like a lot of new tutorial every week. If you have any ideas, feel free to drop them in the comment. Any question, the same. And I'll see you for I will see you for the next video. Bye.